Hello, hello. Thank you for watching. Let's move that ugly Facebook feed out of the way. You don't want to look at that right now. Hello. I have rigged up a tripod with a selfie stick and duct tape because I hate tripods and they hate me back, but I know I give off the Blair Witch Project effect when I'm periscoping, so I'm trying to keep it still because I have several different things to show you. Let me turn this around. Okay, see if my selfie stick idea is working. Hello, I am Andrea Reynolds, and I am the Social Studies Whisperer. I am passionate about American history. I'm scared to touch this thing. Okay, and I am igniting a revolution to bring American history back. And what I do is I take my ideas I used in the classroom and modify them to how they could be used for homeschooling families too. Hi, Tania. So really, spoiler, my ideas can be used for anybody teaching social studies, okay? I am like I said, very, very passionate about it. And this morning I saw this video on Facebook that really inspired me. And I just talked about this on Facebook Live. And my scatterbrain self, I think I have my finger on the microphone for the first minute. So it looks like I didn't say anything, but I really did. So let me show you what I'm talking about real quick. And then we'll get into the topic. Okay, so I'll probably say, let me flip this around. Okay, so I posted this on my, okay, that's my personal one. Yes, let's put it on. This is my group. If you teach social studies and you want some awesome ideas, not just from me, from a whole bunch of people, you need to get in my social studies group. I'm scared to touch my little tripod setup. So this is it right here, Social Studies Salute. But on my Facebook page for my business, let's not go to my, oh my goodness. Okay, see, this is why I don't do tripods, because I just can't even. I can't even with tripods. Okay, so anywho, on my Social Studies Whisper Facebook page, right here, I've been playing with Canva today, and I'm changing out graphics on every single one of my social media platforms. So that's been fun. I love graphic design. Anywho, I posted this video this morning, okay? And I posted everywhere because it was just like amazing. Let me show you just a minute of it, okay? If you aren't familiar with Simon Sinek, and Simon Sinek, I know I say his name wrong every time. He wrote this really amazing book called Start With Why, and he's done.
America absolutely has a why, and we were so lucky, unlike so many other places in the world, because our founding fathers wrote it down for us. We literally have a document that explains why we needed our own country. In fact, we declared it. We declared our independence, and we said that we want to have our own country because we have a simple belief. That belief is that all men are created equal, and we're endowed with these unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And what I absolutely love is that when we are at our natural best, we are pursuing that ideal. It's funny because we're always talking about the Constitution this and the Constitution that. The Constitution is a structural document. It lays out the structure on how we will achieve our why, and how we will actually achieve this idealized state of what the world could be like. It's actually the Declaration of Independence we should be wrapping ourselves in, because every time we're at our best, we're pursuing that. Now, Democrats and Republicans will interpret differently the path to take to that, but at the end of the day, there's no difference between a Democrat and a Republican. It's just the manner in which they choose to interpret the path we take to achieve the ideal that is perfectly written down for us in the Declaration of Independence. It's one of my favorite why documents in the world.
That just blew my mind, because he's so right. And I think we get so lost in all the other stuff that we forget about the why. And I think that would be an amazing video to show to kids and have them reflect on that. And what I would do, I talked about this before, the Windows notes, is I would give, and this is for any age, okay? And so I have my little tripod, I can't zoom out, but it's still, okay? So if you want me to email you this template, contact me on my sidebar on my website, and I will email it to you. Or find me on my Facebook page. It's facts, feelings, questions, connections, okay? And I talked about doing this for the Constitution. I would, because when I watched that, I had so many ideas pop up in my brain. And like I said, I've said this before, this is my brain, okay? Some of your kids that you're going to show it to or you might be this brain. Facts. You might have questions. You might have feelings about it. Like, it also stirs up some really strong feelings. And the biggest connection I made was thinking about our military and how we lose sight of how that's who's protecting our ideal. And we focus so much on all this stuff. Like, I don't want to say the stuff going on in the contemporary news is not important. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we get lost in what the priorities are and how we should be grateful for what we have in America and how we should not take things for granted. Like, people fighting for freedom, and that's what it made me think of. Okay, so you're gonna have those little, especially if you're in the classroom, you're gonna have those little creative brain kids, and you don't know like what connections they are making. That is what it made me think of, and it made me think of this book, H is for Honor. I love these alphabet books. They have them for every state. They have them for several different topics, but this one, H is for Honor, and I was thinking like Veterans Day is coming up in November, but just like Constitution Day, Veterans Day is not just a one-day-a-year thing. It should be all year. And it just made me think about that and how we able to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves and stop for a minute with all this like Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. No, everyone matters. Well, yes, everyone matters. Everyone does matter, okay? And I'm not being insensitive to the things that are going on in the news, and I don't even want to go there. And I've talked about that topic before. But it's why do we have the freedoms that we have? Where do they all stem from? Do they stem from the Constitution? No, that's not our why. That's our how. But you have to take it back further and start with the why for America. And I think that brings in, like I said, my connections brain. I was just like thinking, and when I was driving earlier, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be a great writing assignment, because that's just how my brain works, okay? And I did the Facebook Live video about iCivics.org, so check that out. And like I said, I can't remember, small details, like I embarrassed myself about Sandra Day O'Connor, but that's okay. I can give you some ideas for teaching. So, I got these from the National Archives, like when I was in middle school. I laminated them. But in the classroom, it was funny, I had them on the wall in my classroom last year, and I told kids, like, this was the real Constitution, and some of them believed me. I was like, no, this is not the Constitution. Okay, so you can get, and I'm sure you can order paper copies of these online, or you can just, print out a copy or just display it online. But I think it will be an awesome comparing and contrasting activity after you had kids like respond to that video. Like I said, have them watch the video. Have them watch it more than once, because you can tell kids, okay, just focus on the facts this time. What facts is he talking about? Well, really for that one, he's talking about the main fact is the Constitution lays out the rules. The rest of it is kind of like would inspire feelings or connections. Okay, so not everything you need to do in social studies is all about facts. The facts are the least important thing in social studies, the details. It's all about the main ideas. It's all about the connections. It's all about the lessons you can learn from people overcoming adversity. That's what social studies is about. And I'm sure that those people watching, when you were little and when I was little, that's not what it was about. It was about memorizing the Battle of Bunker Hill, or it's like, I don't know, all this like boring stuff, and as soon as the test was over, you forgot it. And that's why a lot of people do not like social studies. Well, the good thing about Common Core is that now with the importance of nonfiction, then you can tie in, and the way social studies is supposed to be taught now, you're supposed to analyze primary source documents, and you're supposed to make those connections and talk cause and effect and grander scale ideas instead of memorizing dumb details that don't really matter, okay? I'm not saying, like, obviously 4th of July, that's important. So what I would do is I would have kids like compare and contrast. And, you could always do the old fail-safe Venn diagram, but I I don't like Venn diagrams just because they're boring, because I just like to do everything different. So you could also do a T-chart. There are a ton of ideas you could use to, however you want to have kids compare and contrast. Write down, like, and even they need to understand that Declaration of Independence came first. I'm telling you, kids don't understand basic American documents, okay? If you live in America, you need to understand the principles that the country is founded on, because that's part of your responsibility as a citizen. And every grade level, it's in the standards or in the requirements or just in just being a good citizen, citizens' rights and responsibilities. You need to know that. So have them, establish, okay, what was the purpose of the Declaration of Independence? When was it written? Why was it written? Okay? It wasn't, I think maybe kids might think that this was kind of like the, when the Pilgrims came, maybe, that the Pilgrims set this up. No. This wasn't the first, important document in American history. Go farther back. The Mayflower Compact, Articles of Confederation. Keep on going back and see the what led up to the Constitution. So that would be kind of a cool thing, to kind of sequence the different important documents and then compare and contrast them. Like, what was the purpose of the Declaration of Independence? And what was the purpose of the Constitution? And I'm sorry, they're laminated, so they're glaring, and I don't expect you to read them anyways. I'm just using them as a prop, as a symbol. So talk about why, okay? This was declaring that America wanted to be free. And why did America want to be free? Because they didn't want the king, who was across the pond, controlling what they were doing from thousands of miles away or hundreds of miles away, like I said, from across the pond. And they thought that the taxation without representation was unfair. And they were having to do all of this work, and the king was going to profit. And so they wanted to be their own country. So that was the why. Okay, and then, of course, that led up to the American Revolution, blah, blah, blah. And then came the, okay, we're our own country, but how are we going to set up our country? And that is where the Constitution came in. And that is our how. So you need to be clear. You always have to stick to your why, no matter what you're doing. If you are in the classroom, if you are teaching kids, if you're teaching your own children, what is your why? Why are you doing that? Why? Think about your why. It doesn't matter the how. I've said this before. I left the classroom in May, and I am now going full-time entrepreneur, and I'm very passionate about history, and I have been changing my mind kind of which direction I want to go, because I feel like all of this can't be packaged into a little, this is going to be this service or this is going to be that service, because I struggle to even limit myself to one audience, because I feel so strongly about American history being taught and appreciated, and people's minds being changed about the subject in general, because I am definitely in the minority thinking that history is awesome. And I think part of it relates to maybe I am a Mayflower descendant on both sides, and had ancestors fight in every single war and fought for the Union in the Civil War, and so it's important to me. And so that's where my passion, and guess where that passion came from? It was instilled in me through my family, my parents. It wasn't, I don't love social studies because I had a great teacher in elementary school that convinced me to love social studies. I didn't. And I know what you're thinking. If you're watching this, you're like, well, I don't have time for social studies. Yes, you do. I just gave you a literacy idea. I fully 100% believe in integrating literacy into social studies. That's how you do it. You get reading passages, you do writing assignments. I love writing. Obviously, if you see anything I write on social media, you're going to know that. And so you can make any social studies topic into a writing assignment, I promise you. And you can find passages. And speaking of reading, I shared Kids Discover. I shared the Constitution one last week. Well, guess what? There's How America Works also. Okay? Look at all of those awesome topics. And I don't know if you watched the show Designated Survivor. I watched it last night. And it was on last night. I watched it today on Hulu because I don't have cable anymore. But I think that kind of connects to all of the stuff that's going on. And you could, if your kids like that show, then in which I thought it was appropriate for kids, it was fine, but I don't know. I mean, that's your own decision. You could kind of relate that to you could have like chart out the chain of like succession for who's in office right now. So I think that would be really neat. So make connections between history and real life, and that's how you hook your kids into being interested. And that's how my brain works. Like I said, I watched the video about thinking about why America was founded, and I was like, we have lost sight of that. And this whole like people not appreciating each other's differences. And I know I can't change the world. I'd love to change the world, and I know people are hardwired to think how they want to think a lot of the time, but it's your job as an adult, if you are an influence over kids, to be responsible and to have them have their eyes opened. And it is very hard when you're a classroom teacher and you have to deal with kids who have been taught prejudice and hate and discrimination. It's disgusting. So be mindful of the things that you say about other races or other religions, and just keep in mind, especially if you have kids, the kids are always listening. Okay. And to tie it back to my original point and what it made me think of, it just made me think about how grateful I am for soldiers that have fought for my freedom. And it made me think of, because that's how are we still like 200 blah, blah, blah years later, 240, okay, I'm a bicentennial baby, so 240 plus years later, how are we still a country? Because that's why. People who fought for our freedom. It's not because of people like me running my mouth about American history. It's because of people putting their lives on the line every day. So don't wait until Veterans Day. Don't wait until November. And write a letter to a soldier. And I shared Good Deed Challenge. There's a link to like a way to do that. Or it's just simple as much as like, when you go out in public and you see like elderly men with the hats on that had served in Korea, or there's not too many that have served in World War II, or served in Vietnam, or any soldier, just say thank you. Then that's what I do. Just say thank you for your service. Just tell them that, because I'm sure a lot of them feel like people don't care. So this is another book. I love these DK Eyewitness books. So this is how you get your boys to like social studies. Okay? And they have great pictures. These are great informational texts. Pictures, captions, like actual photographs, not just, paintings or drawings. So my point is, in all of the hullabaloo and all of the craziness and all of the, back and forth, Trump, Clinton, blah, blah, let's not lose sight of why America is great, okay? Despite what you think, despite your situation in life, we are very fortunate and very blessed to be in a country where I can post a political diatribe about Hillary Clinton and whatever, and I won't even about my 2 cents about why I won't be voting for her. But anyways, I can post that on Facebook, and the government's not going to be knocking on my door. I can post that anywhere. If other countries, they don't have that luxury. So just worry about, get back to the root, get back to America's why. And that's all I have to say, and hopefully this will inspire you, or at least give you a writing lesson idea. Go back and check out my Facebook Live video about iCivics. And like I said, if you're interested in that Windows Notes template, just check out my website, socialstudieswhisperer.com, and you can message me on the sidebar on that where it says contact. Thank you for watching, and let's put it back on the my beautiful image, because yesterday I ended up with a screenshot of my face, and I don't want that. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will be back another day, or you never know. I can't schedule my inspiration. All right, thanks for watching. Bye bye.